stop I had set it up and I had lost the controls. So let me share my screen and I will go to the okay, so now you should be able to see my slides. And so let me thank you everybody for joining us. I'm delighted to be here again. This is going to be also another interactive session on marketing part 2, marketing your business part 2. So please pay attention to the chat, and that's where you can put your responses. I will monitor that as well as Eileen, and that way we'll be able to respond to your comments and questions as I go through this. So let's just go ahead and get started. First of all, I want to give you just a little bit of an overview of the SBDC, just so that you understand. For those of you who are not familiar with who we are, we have about 15 counselors here in Maricopa County. We are the lead center of 10 SBDC centers in all of Arizona. That's small business development centers. The Maricopa SBDC, as I said, is the largest of all 10 centers. Our main offering is no fee counseling here in Maricopa County. And our 15 counselors have a wide variety of expertise to help you start your business, grow your business, and even exit your business. And we all are working virtually at this time. At the end of this session, I will show you how you can connect with us, how you can register for assistance from us at no charge. And I'll tell you a little bit more about how the counseling process works. But we're able to do this and offer our services free of charge to you because we are funded by the Federal Small Business Administration out of Washington, D.C. And then we're hosted locally here by Maricopa County Community Colleges. And we also partner with the Arizona Commerce Authority and the City of Peoria. So those are our two partners, and we get additional funding from them as well as the Maricopa Community College District and the Small Business Administration. So that, yes.
Sorry to interrupt you. We can see your notes on the screen that you have shared.
Oh, okay. Then I'm sharing the wrong screen. So let me stop this and let me share a different screen. How about this?
Perfect. Thank you, Jeri.
Okay. Yeah, I have a lot of things all over the screen that's going to interrupt what I was presenting. So thanks for that. Appreciate it. All right, so let's continue then. Try to move my picture out of the way or minimize me. I don't need to look at myself. Just to give you a little bit of a background on me, I'm not going to read through this, but I have more than 30 years of experience in mostly marketing, but also strategic management and business planning. And I was the former director of the Yavapai County SBDC and left them in July and joined Maricopa earlier this year, the Maricopa County SBDC, just to be able to, as a part-time business analyst, to be able to work more closely with the clients. I have a real passion for helping small business owners grow their business, and especially the marketing side. That's been my passion. So let me do a quick review of, if you weren't here last time, just a quick review of what we covered in session 1. It was recorded, so if you didn't see that one, attend that one, you can always attend it later on. But we talked about the definition of marketing, marketing's role in your business, and the 6 Ps of marketing. And today we're going to go into the step 2, which is the 5-step marketing plan. But just briefly, in terms of this quick review, marketing is the process and tools by which goods and services move from concept to the customer. So that's everything from the idea stage to the end user. Marketing covers all of those facets, which is why it's really an interesting industry to me. And then I talked about marketing's role in your business and how it really touches every aspect If you're a small business owner and even a solopreneur, you're wearing all of these hats at one time or another. And if you're part of a larger organization, then these are different departments within the organization that you as the marketing person should be interacting with. When we talked about the 6 P's of marketing, the 4 P's are what we're usually taught in college: product, price, place, and promotion. But people and proof are 2 things I also covered, because those are really important key aspects of the whole marketing strategy. So you'll learn more about that if you watch the first webinar that was last week. So why plan? This is your first opportunity to engage in a chat and start filling in this information. Why is it necessary to plan? And let me see who so you've got people, it looks like we have people who are running the marketing for an IT workforce, and someone else who's relaunching her business with new strategies post-COVID. This is a great opportunity for you to be doing this. Someone helping doctors to find alternative e-health solutions. That's a great group of people that we have online. So why is it important to plan? We have any comments in the chat here? And if I don't, not seeing any response to that, I'll just, my response. If you don't know where you're going, any path will get you there, right? You've probably heard this. And then you haven't identified, yes, planning is important. If you have not identified what it is you're trying to achieve with your plan, and you have no measures of success, then anything you're doing may or may not be working, but you can't track and you can't identify that. So the planning is really important. So we're going to go through this 5-step marketing plan. First question is, where do I want my marketing to take me in 1 to 3 years? Now, this 1 to 3 years, that future date, needs to also relate to the future date of what you want to accomplish in your own business. So your business plan or your overall strategic plan, marketing's got to support that, because otherwise you're doing marketing down one path and you want your business to grow in the other direction. And it's not supporting the overall business objectives and the overall business growth. So make sure that first of all and foremost, your marketing should be achieving what you want to help drive your growth in your business. What might be different in my external environment by that future date that could affect my strategies? Well, this is also important too, because we don't operate in a vacuum, right? And we're going to go through the different things that you need to be paying attention to as a marketing person, and even as a solo entrepreneur, that could be affecting your marketing strategies. And COVID is a good example of that, right? I mean, COVID really interrupted everything that we were doing in our businesses, and we had to do some pivoting. How will I measure success? Question number 3. This is where you set your specific goals, your specific targets, and these are what you're using to track, are your marketing strategies working? So question number 4, where am I today? So questions number 1 through 3 are all about the future. This is all about what I want to achieve in that, by that future date, 1, 2, or 3 years down the road. Question number 4 is about where am I today? This is your SWOT, and this is where you start looking at where my strengths and weaknesses, my opportunities and threats for today. And then number 5 is, what are the specific strategies and actions that I need to implement today in order to achieve what I've set up as my desired outcomes and my success measures. Okay, so that's how this all works together. We're going to go through each one of these, and then you're going to get an opportunity to start working on a few of them. We won't have time to actually do the whole chat, do the whole plan, but you'll make a head start on it. So first of all, where do I want my marketing to take me in 1 to 3 years? Are you looking, what will I have achieved? These are some of the questions you want to be thinking about to write up your desired outcomes. What will I have achieved with my marketing? What will my customers be saying about me or my firm? How will my competitors be reacting to my success? How will my business have changed in 1 to 3 years? So these tie into the desired outcomes that you've set for your overall business growth, and the marketing needs to support that. So take a few minutes. I know I said 3 minutes. We don't really have 3 minutes, but start jotting down some notes so that you can create a statement that addresses what that future looks like. And it should, as I said, correlate to the overall vision for your business. Let me look at some of the comments in the chat here. Planning is important. Plan your work, work your plan, correct. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. That's a lot of P's, DeMonte, and I love that. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. Absolutely. Very good. And let me see. Will there be copies of the slides, Chandra? Yes, you should have actually received them already. Eileen sent those out at 8:30 this morning. So check your email. And if it's not in your email, it could be in your spam or junk, but you should have received a PDF of the slides, as well as the 2 handouts, 2 worksheets that you're going to be working on during this session. Okay, so let's move on. But you can always come back to writing out a statement about what your desired outcome is 1 to 3 years from now. And that's going to drive everything that you're doing in your plan. All right, let's look at question number 2. What might be different in my external environment 1 to 3 years from now? And these are your opportunities and threats. I'm going to go through each one of these one by one, but what I want you to keep in mind is that not all of these are going to be applicable to your business, but there are several that you need to be paying attention to, and it all depends on what type of business you're in. One is the key one is socio-demographics. So these are shifts in population. Are you in an area, and again, this is looking at your business. Are you in the kind of business that people only shop within a 5-mile radius of the business, or are people willing to drive? Do you have a physical location? Are people willing to drive a long distance in order to do business with you? That's a key component here, because then what's happening in your neighborhood? Is it a growing area? Is it an area where people are moving into? Is it an area that's regentrifying? Is it an area that is growing older and your target audience is younger? I mean, these are the things that you want to be thinking about on a socio-demographic standpoint. Are you operating throughout Maricopa County? Who's your target audience? Is it a growing market? Is it a declining market? Is it pretty static? What's the average age, income, and location of your particular target audience? That's the socio-demographics you want to pay attention to. We know that Phoenix is a huge, hot growth market. And there are a lot of businesses that are moving here, a lot of people moving here. However, because of global warming, Maricopa, Phoenix, Scottsdale, those areas, people are down the road, looking 3 years down the road, people may decide to move out of that area and move further north. We're finding in Yavapai County, for example, and in Flagstaff, huge population growth. People coming from other parts of the state and other states in the nation just to get out of metropolitan communities. So these are things that you need to be thinking about 3 years down the road. Socio-demographics being that one. Let's talk about competition. How has the competition changed? How will the competition change in 1 to 3 years? Whatever that future date is that you put in for your desired outcomes, do you anticipate growth in competition? Do you anticipate a decline in competition? Are you in an industry, we'll talk about that's a declining industry? Are you in a mature one? Or is it a hot growing market? In which case you may find new competitors coming on that you hadn't thought about. What about the economy? I'm hearing and reading that we're in a down economy. How is that affecting your business? And are your customers' pocketbooks getting pinched? As prices are rising, do they have less discretionary income to spend? You need to be thinking about that as well. And then The next one is political. Are you in a regulated industry? Not everyone is, but certainly if you're in healthcare or insurance, or you own gas stations, those are regulated industries. What might be happening 2-3 years from now? That are you anticipating changes in regulations that could affect the products and services that you are providing? That's going to impact your marketing strategy. Technology, it's impacting everybody. People are now moving. There are more and more people first searching online. Even if they end up going to a store to buy, they search online, they look at where they want to go. People are less likely to just drive to a mall and do shopping. We're seeing the malls are having trouble, retail stores. We've seen all of those trends. COVID taught people that we could sit at home behind our computers and look at our tablets, and we could shop. And there's a huge market of seniors, over 50 people, that discovered online shopping and also discovered what's called BOPUS, buy online, pick up at store. And so what we've seen is all of these stores, retail stores, having to earmark certain sections of their parking lot for pickup, right? You order it and you just drive to the local store and pick up your groceries or pick up whatever you've ordered. So that's a change. Is that something that you need to address in your own business? The industry, what kind of an industry, what changes might be happening in your own industry in 1 to 3 years? And then what about shifts in customer behavior, shopping behavior, their tastes, their wants? We saw changes in that over COVID. People didn't need to wear, because everybody was working from home and a lot of people continue to work from home. Dry cleaning isn't as important. We don't have to wear suits anymore. We don't have to buy expensive clothes. It's more important that we have comfortable clothes that we're wearing. And that's a whole shift in apparel, in the apparel industry, right? So think about that in related relationship to your business. All I want you to do is circle the top 3. What are the 3 most important ones that could impact your particular business? And then label it as an opportunity or a threat. Also keep in mind that what is a threat could also be an opportunity for you. You just have to think about it. Is it both, or is it one or the other? So circle those 3 and then write down, just put on a piece of paper, is it an opportunity or a threat? And if you don't have the slide deck yet, so you can't circle it, then just write them down on a piece of paper for you. Economy, a threat. Yes, it is a threat. Yamisi, interesting name. Okay, good. Absolutely. Moving on to the next one, question 3. This is how you're going to measure your success. So we're still looking at this future date. We're still in the future. We're not looking at today. So how do I know if my marketing strategies are working? This is where you're going to get really, really specific, because now you're going to put a specific number. If revenue, if sales goals are one of your key measurements, then what's that sales projection? What is it that you're looking for 1 to 3 years from now? Revenue, so put in a specific number. That's what your marketing has to drive. How about customer satisfaction? The number of referrals you want to get in 1 to 3 years. 100% satisfaction, 90% customer satisfaction. Is that an important measurement for you? If you have employees, is that an important measurement for you? Happy employees make happy customers. So customer and employees, I see that as one, and referrals is another. Good. You want to write those down. What about your reputation in the marketplace? This is in the form of Google reviews and Facebook reviews. People nowadays don't buy unless they've done this check. They're going through and they're looking at a new online store, for example, and then they're going to go look at the Google reviews and the Facebook reviews, and they're going to review those. They're going to look through those and see, is this something I want to buy from this store? And so that becomes a really key component, especially if you're doing online. online selling, revenue and reviews. I see that from Vera. Yes, good point. What about media coverage? Are you in a business or an industry where it's important that you have publicity from the local media? And Bruce, you're saying yes. So that might be one of your targets, that you want to have a specific number of articles in the local paper and local online publications, that sort of thing. Or maybe national. Maybe it's national that's more important to you. Maybe customer national coverage will help my business. Okay, good, Chandra. That's a target for you. Customer engagements on social media. That might be something else that you want to be looking at, especially if you're going to be doing social media marketing. And then new customers. How many new customers do you want to attract? Customer engagement reviews help. Yes, absolutely, Aisha. And then community involvement. So here's another one that sometimes people don't think about, but the reality is that if your customer is looking at you versus a competitor, and they're trying to decide, they think that the products are kind of comparable or your services are kind of comparable, and they've done some of their research, one of the key aspects that's going to make them make a decision to do business with you versus your competitor could be how involved you are in the community, what kinds of charities you support. If you support a charity that they're passionate about, they're going to want to support you and do business with you. And we saw a lot of that during COVID, where customers deliberately overpaid at their local businesses because they wanted you to thrive. And so the same thing would be true for your community involvement and engagement. So if that's a measure of success, then you need to list that. And what does that look like? My business in design tote bags made of canvas and other bags and clothing that's waterproof, and all this to support my charity. Okay, perfect, Adriana. And see, that's something that you promote on social media, that everything is supporting the nonprofit. And that's a reason for people to buy your particular tote bags and other bags and clothing, because they know they're supporting a nonprofit. So it's a feel-good kind of thing. So it gives you ammunition to talk about on social media when you've identified that as a measure of success for you. Circle the ones that are the top 3 for you again, or write those 3 down. And Chandra, you say you support people with disabilities. Another important thing that you want to be talking about on social media, to let people know that. Don't keep it a secret. And that's how people can make a decision. I call them the millennium bags for their natural and last for a long time. Perfect, Adriana. And DeMonte is saying social media testimonies and reviews are important. Yes, absolutely. Agree with you there. So circle the ones, or write down the 3 that you are the most important for you. A lot of these are going to be important measures for you, but you can't really address more than about 5 at any given time, and you need to focus on the top 3. Then you can always, once you've got that handled, you can always introduce some other measures that you want to be focusing on. But circle the top 3, that'll help you achieve the desired outcomes that you put down for 1 to 3 years from now. Okay, so this has all been about the future. This is not about today, but we're about to now step back from the future and go to today. And this is where you start building out your SWOT. So question number 4 is, where am I today in terms of my marketing strengths? So the first things I want you to take a look at, not all of these are going to be necessarily applicable to you, but take a look at what are the top 3. Again, that's the top 3 that make the most sense for you. Is it because you have a really good handle on who your ideal customer is, and you know who those segments are, and you're doing really good job of marketing to them? Maybe it's the products and services that you've created some really good services or really good products, and people are buying those. Perhaps it's your pricing strategies by product and customer. Have you gone to that level of detail so you really understand that for certain customer segments, you can price your products differently? Have you done a competitive analysis so you know how you're pricing your products and how you're doing vis-a-vis the competition? That's something you should know, because you can't operate in a vacuum, and your competitors are probably looking at you and analyzing how well or poorly you're doing. Are your sales up year over year? We're just coming out of COVID. We certainly, some businesses thrived during COVID, but most businesses really struggled, and some actually went out of business. Where are you in that whole scenario? Are your sales up? We're halfway through 2022. That would be a positive for you. Customer service. How is your customer service? Does it need work, or is it really good? Are you getting good response from customers? Are your employees happy? Do you have satisfied customers? So pick your top 3, again, circle those, and then just describe, just jot a little note down for yourself about why you circled that one. So Yamisi is saying services, satisfied customers. That's good. Chandra saying product, service, sales, and pricing. Okay, good, excellent. Those are good options. Okay, so these are current strengths. Next, we're going to look at weaknesses. So now you're looking at what are some challenges you might be facing. You may be facing more than one. List what those are. What about your products and services? If they need a little bit of work because the environment's changed and you need to go back to the drawing board and adjust your products or adjust your services, maybe that's something you need to work on. Maybe your pricing, your sales have dropped off, and so you need to look at your pricing strategies. Do you need to increase your prices, or do you need to drop your prices? Competitive analysis. If you haven't done that, maybe this is a weakness, and you need to work on doing some competitive analysis. Are your sales down versus being up year over year? Is your customer service really needing some attention? One of the things we've heard and continue to hear is that customer service in especially retail and restaurant industries has been lacking. And that's probably because people have been, once COVID was over and things were opening up again, businesses were so desperate for employees, they rarely had time to really train them. And so training has become a really important thing to focus on, because if you don't train your people how to interact with the customer, then they have, what we're finding is a lot of these younger people just have no idea of how to interact, how to respond. And so the customer service has gone really down, because what's happening with the customer is the customer's expectations have changed. And so now they are expecting an experience, and they're expecting good service. They might have tolerated it before COVID, but now they don't. So maybe that's an area you need to work on. Dissatisfied employees. Do you have a high turnover? Are your employees not happy with whatever is going on? Whether there's one employee that's creating a negative climate, or the salaries are really low, and that's an issue that's a struggle for small businesses in particular. Aisha is saying, I have a coffee shop and struggle with pricing, making items to meet my price point due to expenses and costs. Yeah, I mean, everything's gone through the roof, right? But your loyal customers will understand, because they're seeing all those expenses going up. The cost of coffee beans, the cost of all of the supplies have gone up. They love the product, sales are strong, but margins are struggle. Yeah, I certainly understand that. And that struggle with asking for my worth as well, DeMonte. Yes, that's an ongoing challenge for small business owners, and especially for people who are in the coaching or service business. And there's a strategy for that. And material costs, and I don't know Chandra. So that's an ongoing issue, because supply chain issues with COVID and margins. So those are all good responses and things that you need to keep an eye on for sure, as you're working on your plan. and struggling with getting new customers. And that's a challenge as well, because people have a lot of choices and you've got to figure out how to differentiate yourself. We're going to get more into that, into those kinds of details in session number 3. But right now we're just talking about the plan. And then we'll be diving in session 3 into more of the details of actually working on your plan and executing it. All right, let's go to the next one, question number 5. Well, actually, we're not at 5 yet. So you should have received this as an Excel worksheet. It's in here, but what I want you to do is take the things that you've written down in terms of your strengths and your weaknesses, the top 3, list those top 3, one on each line here, and then put an S or a W in the column. And then I also want you to list what the 3 external opportunities or threats that you circled. Received it. I know that Eileen sent this all out. That Eileen sent these out at around 8:30 this morning. So just contact Eileen again if you have not, and maybe she'll just resend them. But in addition to your strengths and weaknesses, I want you to list on the other lines what you had listed as the 3 opportunities and those. No, I mean, just list that in here. And the reason I want you to do this is it puts all of those items in one place on one worksheet, where now you can look at what's a strength, what's a weakness, what's an opportunity, and what's a threat. Because a weakness could also be an opportunity for you to work on, and that can help inform your strategies. A strength could also be a threat, because it could be that the market is changing, and while you have that as a strength, the threat is that the market has changed and your customers don't care about that anymore. So it just gives you an opportunity to look at it all in one place on one worksheet and begin to formulate your strategies and actions. So this is question number 5 in the marketing planning process. What strategies and actions do I need to implement today to achieve those future desired outcomes? And again, these strategies and actions are going to tie back to the first 4 questions. So those specific tasks, these are what you're going to be working on today, your specific tasks in the next 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, in order to achieve those desired outcomes years 1, 2, and 3, whatever that future date is. And they're going to be strategies and actions that once you've accomplished one, then you can look at what other strategies you can develop and what other actions you can take into account and move that up into a higher priority. So you list what I have to get done in the next 30 days, and then you list what I have to get done in the next 60 days, and what I have to get done maybe in the next 90 to 120 days. And as you accomplish the tasks in the 30 days, look at the ones in the 60 days and move one of those up to the 30-day time slot. That way you're always working towards all of those tasks to help you really achieve these outcomes sometime in the future. They should also tie back to your success measures. So it's easy to get lost in this rabbit hole where you start just doing things, especially on social media, or implementing some marketing strategies and campaigns that have nothing to do with your measures. They're not going to help generate sales. They're not going to help you build the media coverage that you want. It's just a campaign you thought was a good idea and you put together. If it isn't going to help you reach any of those success measures, your financial goals, your customer satisfaction goals, your media coverage goals, if it's not going to help you get there, it is not a strategy worth implementing right now. It might be something that you put on the back burner. So that's another way for you to really handle the marketing, especially as if your employees or other people come up with some wonderful ideas for you to implement. Take a look at that and say, is it going to help me reach my objectives? Because if it's not going to help me reach my objectives, it's a nice idea, but it's going to distract me from where I'm trying to go. And again, if you aren't measuring these results, if they aren't tying back to those measures, then you have no idea if what you're doing is working. So this is the other worksheet, and that's an Excel spreadsheet so that you can, you can add extra lines, you can make some changes to it. The whole idea here is that the strategies are in the blue column. So under promotion, for example, any advertising you're doing, what are the specific advertising that you're taking on Facebook, on Google, on Pinterest, if that's relevant for you, in print, in radio, in direct mail? What is it that you're doing here? Who's going to be doing that? By when do you need to get that ready and launched? What's it going to cost you? So you can start putting a budget item in here. And then what measure does it relate to? And you want to tie any of this back to that. Same thing with your social media posts. Are you doing storytelling types of posts? Are these client journeys that you're trying to educate your clients about? Are they designed to just educate and inform? Are they product related because you're doing a special product promotion? Are they focused on direct messages, interaction with the clients, and customer service replies? In which case, these are the different social platforms you might be focused on. If you're educating and informing, blogs are an excellent way to do that. And if you don't have a blog, it's also a huge traffic generator to your website. So consider, if you aren't a good writer, you can hire people to write the blogs for you. You can hire contract people on Upwork and in other areas, maybe even a good intern, or if you know somebody who's a good writer, consider working with them and collaborating with them. But if you write a blog article at least and post it at least once a week, but preferably 3 times a week, you're going to see an increase in traffic to your website. And then that combined with social promotion will help, depending on the strategies that you're trying to achieve, help you drive some conversions. If you're doing events, we're now getting back into conferences and trade shows and other kinds of in-person events. Maybe keynote speaking is a big one for you. Then this might be part of your marketing strategy and actions that you need to work on. Don't forget about email marketing. It still works. And so if you're using MailChimp or Constant Contact or something like that, then what kinds of campaigns do you need to put in place? Do you need to have a nurturing campaign where someone who's signed up to get something from you, is constantly receiving an email from you in an automated fashion? There are ways to set that up. Write them once and let them run forever. And it's a drip type of campaign that keeps you front and center in their inbox, because sometimes it can take a year for someone to make a decision to finally buy. And if you aren't showing up in their inbox and they're ready to buy, then they're going to go do a Google search and they may find your competitor and not you. So something to keep in mind. Lead generation is another way to use email marketing in combination with a landing page. And website updates should be part of your marketing strategy also, because the website updates, Google pays attention to websites that are updated on a frequent basis. If you have a website that you've set up, that you had designed and set up a year or 2 years ago or longer, and it's not updated on a regular basis, it's just what's called a brochure site, Google eventually says that's not a current website, and it will not be showing up unless you have used some really unique keywords that people are putting into Google to search. Your website has a lower likelihood of showing up on the first even 5 pages of Google searches. And people won't usually go beyond 3 if they're doing a Google search. And sometimes they don't go back past the first page. If you're not good with writing, hire someone on Fiverr. Yep, Fiverr and Upwork are both good places to find freelancers. Absolutely. Landing page. Okay. Kira, a landing page is a page that is just a single page on your website that has no other menu items. There's no opportunity for the person to browse anywhere. And you would use a landing page if you're doing a special promotion, like you're doing a sales a special sales promotion. All you want to do is get people to take action to click on the link to go to your online store to buy. It's a special promotion about a discount and different products that are on sale. And you want to drive people to take some kind of an action. You do not want to give them an opportunity to go see the About Us section or all the different products or anything else, your blog. It's just a single focused landing page on your website or even external to your website, but branded just like you have branded your website. And the purpose of the landing page is to get people to click on a link and take some action and preferably buy. So that's the purpose of the landing page. Depending on, Kira, depending on what platform your website is built on, you may be able to create a landing page. And actually, if you're using MailChimp, you can create a landing page. And in Constant Contact, you can create a landing page. If you're hosting events and doing, if hosting conferences and producing conferences is one of your key strategies to sell, then Constant Contact has a really nice feature for managing conference ticket prices, creating a landing page, selling additional products, etc. So there are different options available, and there are specific sites also that you can use to just create landing pages that where you get little widgets you can embed on your website that is a teaser promo, like a pop-up or something, that then when people click on that, it takes them to the landing page. So there's some different strategies that can be implemented in that process. All right, all of this is designed to lead into this lead generation funnel. So everything that you're doing in your marketing strategies that are supporting your overall desired outcomes down the road should be focused on attracting more business, attracting the right kinds of customers into your marketing funnel. And email marketing is a huge component of that. Once you've done all the promotion and PR in your blog, on social media, to get people into your email marketing campaign system. And the purpose there is to be attracting traffic. From that, you want to capture leads, because if you're generating more traffic, you want definitely to be able to capture the name and the email address so that you can continue marketing to those people. Because if you are not capturing a name and an email address through some kind of a web form on your landing page or website, then that's traffic that you have no idea who they are. All you can see in Google Analytics is where they came from, but you don't know who they are and you can't reach out to them. But they were obviously interested because they went from whatever your promotion was, whether it was your blog post or your social media posts, they actually took some action and looked you up. And that says you said something that had some interest to them. Then you want to nurture those. Once you've captured them, you want to nurture those prospects. And the way you do that is with an ongoing campaign where it's the drip marketing. You're constantly in touch with them until they are finally ready and you can convert them into a sale and into our customer. And once you have converted them to a customer, then you've got to over deliver. This is where the customer, you want to reach out and make sure they're totally satisfied, provide maybe some other options for them. And if you've got a really satisfied customer, that's a point where you can begin to upsell them from, especially if you're doing coaching where you have an entry-level package and they're happy with that package, there's an opportunity for you to reach out to them down the road and suggest that maybe they want to move up into the next level of package where they get even more detail or more services or more whatever for a little bit more higher price. And then after you've been doing that with those customers for a while, this is an opportunity for you to ask them for referrals. That would be, you'd use a CRM for that, a customer relationship marketing system. And there, MailChimp is one, HubSpot is another, Constant Contact sort of does that, but it needs some work. But there are plenty of the drip marketing is another good one that you can use. And I'm sure there are plenty of others, but those are ones that I'm familiar with. But this process, if once you get it up and running, then you can go in and just tweak it slightly, and it just keeps working for you on an ongoing basis. And there are people that have set up these campaigns years ago, and they're still working. So they're generating traffic, and they're generating referrals, and generating purchases. So you just have to test it. It isn't something you set up and you forget. Without testing, you go back and you and see what's working, what isn't working. How about doing a 1-minute video TikTok for any special events, or just let people know what you have? Yeah, TikTok is a hot platform right now. And absolutely, if you're comfortable doing those TikTok videos, that might be a great way to announce a special event, a special promotion. And then, once you've created that video, you can run it on TikTok, you can post it on social media, you can embed it on your website. I mean, a lot of things you can do with that. But just make sure that you're reaching the right audience, right? Because that's another thing. Don't just go to TikTok because you enjoy videos. If that's not where your customers are, if your ideal customer isn't really on TikTok and paying attention, but they're over on YouTube, or they're looking at Facebook Reels, then might be a waste of time on TikTok, and better spent if you focus on Facebook Reels or Instagram. So it all depends on who your target audience is and which platforms they're using. And we'll go into that in much more detail in section number 3. All right, we are at the end here of this presentation. Are there any additional questions? Attach my offer and landing page to my CRM. Absolutely, yes, Kira, you definitely want to. They all work together. You create the landing page, the form that's on there for people to fill out it gets them into your email marketing CRM system, and the landing page gets embedded on your website, or is used as a separate site that's still branded just like yours, but you have a pop-up on your website that sends people to the landing page, and you do promotion on social media to send people to the landing page. So this was informative and a brain overload. I'm sorry about that. Are there free sites to learn to create funnels? DeMonte, think about that. I'd have to do some research and find out, but I will do that. And Eileen, if you could just take a note about that I'm going to do some research on some free sites to learn about the customer funnels. There aren't any free CRM systems, really. I mean, MailChimp lets you do like a 3-part campaign for free, and you can start working on MailChimp. You get up to 2,000 free contacts, but to put in a really good campaign, you need more than just 3 sessions. So great session. Thanks, Bruce. Appreciate that. And so let me now move into how you can contact the SBDC. This is my email address, and you can send me an email. But the best way, because we're funded, let me just go back to this, we're funded by the federal government, by the SBA. And the SBA does require that everyone we interact with, we track that interaction. So we do need you to, I can do a response, like a one-off response, but if you're not a customer of the SBDC, I really need you to please sign up at this link right there, maricopa-sbdc.com. Once you are registered there, you will be assigned one of our 15 counselors to work with. And you'll be assigned a counselor based on what you've indicated your needs are. So once you're assigned that counselor, then the next step is the counselor will reach out to you in a few days and have you schedule an initial counseling session. That initial counseling session, you and the counselor will review what your goals are, what your challenges are, what it is you need help with, if it's a business plan or getting some funding or the marketing strategy for your business, et cetera. Then you work on that. If it's necessary, your lead counselor will actually reach out to one of our other counselors in the network to co-counsel. So you could be working with more than one of us. We actually have 3 former lenders on our team. So if you are looking to get some funding, then we'll be bringing in, asking one of those former lenders to review your business plan and help with any things that need to be tweaked on that. And they also have access to a wide variety of lenders. So they're very helpful from that standpoint. So we have quite a wide variety of expertise. If you're in the restaurant industry, we've got someone whose family owns a restaurant and has been in the restaurant industry for years. We have someone who's very familiar with the transportation industry and with construction, if that's your area. So just because they have that area of expertise, most of us are generalists, and we can help you with a wide variety of things in your business. So you'll have an initial session, then there'll be some follow-on sessions to meet with you and help you and track your progress towards reaching your goals. That's how the interaction works with the SBDC. And we're really looking for a long-term relationship with you. That's what we're trying to build here, because we really, all of us are passionate about helping you grow your business and make it successful. We also have a pre-venture team. So if you have not yet launched a business, but you have an idea and you want to get a business started and be an entrepreneur, then we have people who are focused just on helping you get that business launched. And once you've got that business launched or ready to launch, then you'll be handed off to one of the other generalist counselors who will then work with you to help you grow the business further. So thank you very much for joining us today. Please do visit that link, maricopa-sbdc.edu, and register if you are not registered. And if you are a current client, well, then we're looking forward to continue working with you. Send me the PDF for this session. We will do that. I'll make sure that Eileen sends it out again. She has all of your email addresses, and I'll make sure that you get that. And please also know that this session was recorded. So certainly by next week, if not by the end of this week, then the session, you'll be able to review it again. And that might be something that you want to do, especially since it was information overload. All right, I'm happy to have had the opportunity to do this and share some time with you. So if there are any other questions, then we'll be happy to answer them. But otherwise, that was the end of my presentation, and I'll stop my sharing now. The next event is not in person. No, Elliot. We're still working virtually. So it'll be another a virtual session like this, but we're going to delve a little more deeply into social media marketing and understanding which platforms the customers are on. And then you'll have some worksheets to work on there to build out a social media marketing calendar. Again, keeping in mind that everything you're doing on social media needs to tie back to those success measures that you had put together in your plan. Yes, you can sign up now, Adriana. Just go to that web link. Oh, sign up for the session. Yes, absolutely. If you go to the SBDC, someone have that in the link, Marketing Your Business Session 3. There it is. Yes, Anna just put it in there. So if you click on that, go ahead and register. That'd be perfect. And let me see, any other questions? You are welcome, Adrian. So I think I don't have anything more, and I'm not seeing any more questions that we may not have answered. So I think we could just end the session, unless Eileen, you had a few more words that you wanted to say.
No, just thank you everyone for joining us. And if there's any other questions, please email me and let us know. Thank you, Jeri, so much for your presentation today. You did amazing as always, and we will be sure to have this webinar that is recorded on our website.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.